Armada Book 3 Chapter 1 The Festival Part 3. Andrew ran outside and found the various leaders. Roden and Byneton were sitting together with GX1. Albert, Julia and Timmy were on another table. Elaine was serving them coffee. Gantley and Tonon, Manpat, Cerudum and Simultaman, and finally Edna and Maria beamed in. Then the Inky Festival officers beamed in. It was a good thing Vicky had more tables and chairs permanently set at the yard. But now they were all occupied. Andrew started, I know we did not properly talk last night, so I proposed this. If you want to drink, that's fine. I know we were not able to be more than our happy selves last night. Roden agreed, yes, and I brought a lot of wines and brandies. I asked Tony if I can get a few of them back, and they're all in Timmy's office. It filled one whole office room. I have dozens brought inside your house. Timmy said. Edna and Maria ran and, we're on it. Roden started, I have Resta here, she is the head of the festival organizing committees and I want to talk about the festival next week. First, I looked at the festival grounds and it's a small city in itself. That explains why it took them so long to open. My congratulations to the teams. There will be a small opening ceremony to be conducted by the people here and all the events will progress simultaneously for 12 days, non-stop. Some will end earlier but some later. At the opening ceremony, we would have to announce the next host for the festival. We would also announce who will take over Resta's job. Byneton added, I'd like to be the host and sponsor the next year's festival. Do we have to do it every year? Why not every 2 or 4 or 5 years? At least there is more to showcase if the period is longer. Andrew countered. Roden agreed, good point. So how about 2 years? Anybody for 2 years? Byneton insisted, I'd host the festival after 2 years. How's that? Andrew looked at Byneton, okay, I guess if you insist. Byneton has always a way of insisting without appearing to be insistent. But Andrew sees this and Byneton appreciates that Andrew sees when he becomes insistent. Gaddon chimed in, the MAC Council insisted on a very large party grounds with multiple amenities because we felt people would end their day there some earlier than the others. Wait, the festival would not stop for the night? Andrew asked. Resta explained, it was actually easier to plan operations if we did away with the day and night perspectives. The Food and Beverages Committee alone sees a gigantic task never before seen anywhere else in the galaxies, so their task was made a bit easier if they did away with the day and night differentiation. Tonon added, the day is 16 hours of your Earth days, so it's pretty long, and the night is a shorter 14 hours. Some people will not last the day, so they retire, and when they awaken, it's still day or day going into night. Some of course would sleep, but then there would be events that would be held better in the night. Like the Drone Wars has a night variety. Some species will last longer than the others before they retire, making the task to match body rhythms to the event times impossible, so it was decided that it become a continuous affair. Me and my people, are so excited. It was a shame we are only in on 30 events. But I told my people we would take care of cleaning up the place every day and night, especially when I realized the cleaning crew numbers did not provide for 100% cleanup. I will pay for everything needed to accomplish the task. By the way, thank you for inviting us to your house, Andrew. Manpat said, and Andrew gave the thumbs up. That's very kind of you. I pointed that issue out to the organizers and it's good you provided the solution. Byneton said. Andrew looked at the others and they were busy doing something else. Albert was talking to Cerudum, Julia, Timmy and Simultaman were laughing at some joke Timmy said. Edna and Maria were busy playing wine and brandy hosts. Then he saw Vicky and Olive come out to the yard with Olive carrying Adam. Ellie excitedly said, oh my God, you're carrying Adam. Let me carry him too. She ran over and got Adam from Olive. Getting interested in babies already? Why don't you let Adam walk a bit? Vicky asked Ellie. Yes and no. She looked at Adam and kissed his left and right cheeks. See that, Gantley? Andrew said and pointed to Olive with a solid body. Gantley countered, aren't you being too cocky thinking you'll win the android contest? I am the enemy, you know. He looked at Andrew. I am so sure we'll win, but I am not talking about it. Billy said. How can Olive not win? You can watch but you cannot touch. No scanning and eavesdropping. Those, may I remind you, are the rules before the game we all agreed on. Andrew said. Albert got closer to Andrew. You know, the power glitch last night revealed the party place to some people on Earth. I had to move fast to defuse the issue it brought up. He patted Andrew on the shoulder and without letting Andrew answer he continued to walk towards Roden and Byneton to talk about the festival. Then Gilkin beams in and after the usual hellos joined Roden's festival group. Then 4 large tables and several chairs appeared further towards the waterfall and Tom appeared bringing some food and putting them on the table. Elaine smiled, Ellie, you made a body for Tom too? Ellie smiled feeling proud for her mom. Vicky asked, can you make one for my ship too? Yes, of course I have them in production already. I think I have 10 brads already made. Brad, get one of the brads in my ship and come over here please. She was swaying Adam to keep him occupied. Brad appeared, let me get used to this for a few minutes please. We can get Brad to teach our scientists back on Earth. Can you make them to look like me or my assistants? Vicky asked. What? No android can be as pretty as you, honey. Shut up, Andrew. Seriously, we can have our scientists get top-rate teaching if we can have Brad assume different human forms to appear as the professors. Ellie explained, that would be a security risk because they would stand out. Accidents can happen and they might show our hand more than we need to. But it can be done. Okay, let me think about it. Vicky said. Olive beamed some chairs and 2 more tables. Andrew looked at her and nodded approval. He never realized that the people were standing. Then Linda, Keelmill and Bhaskar beamed in. Then he saw Danny, Jimmy and Rod beam in. Andrew looked at Olive and she beamed more chairs and a table from the mess hall. Andrew looked at Vicky, I guess we are going to have a large party today. Danny countered, it's really a working party, me and the guys are meeting with Resta for our final walk through tomorrow. He told Andrew. Jimmy looked at Andrew, we just created 20 Olympic-size venues in 5 months and that's only for those areas assigned to us. There are 10 more developer groups from different galaxies. Rod added, it was a real learning experience to say the least. You might think we were fast in our construction work but the other developers were much more efficient and my staff learned a lot of their construction technologies. It explains now how they can build so much in shorter period of time with less people. Had we known about this last year our productivity would have been much higher. We read about these but until we saw them do it, we could not really understand. Now we do. Jimmy said. So the festival benefited you even before it opened? Andrew asked. Very much so. Very much so indeed. Danny said as he looked at Rod and Jimmy who both nodded. Resta approached them and Edna and Maria are in charge of the food and beverage committee. I have finished meeting with them earlier and we are all set. Now it's your turn, she looked at Danny. Danny nodded and motioned his 2 friends to move to one of the tables. Eric and Roger were just standing there with Sarutam and Simultaman laughing at the old man who seemed to have a flow of never-ending jokes. Andrew sat with them after getting a glass of wine to see how the old man operates and maybe he can learn how he delivers his punchlines. Simultaman looked at Andrew and, actually, I tell jokes after I see the reaction of the people I am telling the jokes to. If I see them react badly, I stop and do something else. That is so unfair. Andrew said. What is so unfair about making people laugh and seeing them happy? I know, Andrew, it took me a while to learn the joke, so joking is not a joking matter. This time Andrew laughed. So how was your trip with the Mac Collective? It was an absolute marvel. Since now I do not consider myself old and dying, and after seeing what they showed me, I am now a happier Talonot. I will still work to do good for my species and now with all of you, but I want to do it with you with a lot more fun. Very much just like you do, Andrew. So you've turned from a sage to a clown or clown sage? Andrew asked. Exactly. Simultaman exclaimed and laughed. Roger added, you know back on Earth we have a contest for comedians. Do you think we should have something like this for the festival? After all, what is a festivity without being festive, and how can you become festive without good laughs? Let me look into the future. No, it will not work out. Andrew countered, no it will, you're just going to lose out and there would be a lot of guys funnier than you. Eric explained, you should tell the truth, Simultaman, otherwise we will not believe you when you do. Simultaman sighed and, okay, it will be a good thing and I will lose. My jokes will not be good enough. You just need practice, work on your jokes, as you said getting jokes right is no joking matter. Roger said. You 3 are ganging up on me. Nonsense, we are enjoying your company. Have you tasted the boofing wines? Andrew asked. Do you have some? I really like those wines. Simultaman said. Let me get you some. Roger said and left to get some wines for Simultaman, but he bumped into Edna who had a bottle and, here Roger, hold the glass and I'll pour. She did so and Roger gave the glass to Simultaman. It's okay, Andrew, you can call me Simmy. Exactly what I had in mind. Let me get some brandy. He figured the wines was not strong enough. And thank you, Edna, Maria. Your group will continue to bring goodwill to the galaxies. The goodwill will bring success and wealth to your group and a lot of people not only of your species but other species as well. More power to you and Maria and all your endeavors. Thank you, sir. Edna said and smiled at Simmy. So Simmy, what's next? Are we going to win the android contest? I will not tell you that. It will not be fair for you and the others. Roger asked, so are we going to have a comedy contest? Where's Desta? Hey, Desta, after your meeting come over here, okay? He shouted to Desta sitting on a table with Danny's group a few feet away. Desta nodded and waved him out. Timmy and Julia approached their group. Did you know we had a new Joker in town? Timmy asked Andrew. I thought I was good. This one is better because he has the power to see the punchline's effects before he delivers the joke. Andrew said. You're good and crazy. Simultaman is good but not crazy. Well, thank you Timmy for your support. So you're going on with this comedy contest? Julia asked. Yes, and Simmy here will lose. Andrew said and looked at Simultaman, who just delivered a punchline making Roger and Eric laugh. He feels like a winner though. Timmy whispered to Andrew. He noticed Albert calling him over to their group. Andrew and Julia joined them. Albert started, we want to talk about several joint projects. The top ones would be the Firedon generator, drones, and TPs. Roden added, the Interspecies Council composed of representatives from several species which now includes the Talonots wants to jointly invest in production facilities for the generators, drones and TPs. I thought the Germans and Japanese were good at it. Olive, can you give these guys some brandy please? Andrew said. Albert answered, yes, but their volume is small and they wanted to concentrate more on product development. So as they develop we produce them. He got his glass from Olive and took a sip. He raised his glass and looked at Olive and nodded. Now our joint venture would mean higher volumes. The demand for Firedon generators in the galaxies is so high, then the next in high demand would be short-haul and long-haul TPs. The drones come a far third, but they prove to be very useful as you showed in your last encounter. The new drones are faster and has longer range. Thank you Olive. Binatan said and got the glass of brandy. Andrew asked, how long or far do they go? Roden answered, I think it's 500 mly. It depends on the signal source. Thank you Olive. He got the brandy glass Olive gave him. Albert added, the Abatis generators would have to be made near the supply source. Maybe one of the planets near Dr. Abatis' homeworld. It would probably take one whole planet with billions of people working. I would agree, and the TP should be made near the Mac galaxies, but I would suggest we look for a planet in between the Macs and the Norsets and the Earth planets. Binatan said. Andrew chimed in, Boran and Janan's planet would be somewhere there. I agree, that place is already on stream. Albert said. I think it's a good location. Binatan said. Roden countered, why don't we let the Talonots do the drones? Let's put the drone industry on the moon you captured. What we'll do is transfer the Tosban prisoners to another planet and develop the moon to make it really nice, remove all history of slavery and death. And we have a lot of scraps to use with all the ships Andrew bombed but did not destroy. Binatan agreed, and that's a great idea. I'd say, that will be a game changer for our people. More integration into the network and we can offer jobs to the other alien species as well. Manpat said. Binatan added, while you're at it, send some of your people and workers from the other aliens to the Abatis generator facilities. This way they get further into the network and get better integrated. I will do that. Manpat said. Great. Roden agreed. So the products of these factories would be sold to the people who are themselves the investors or owners? Timmy asked. Roden answered, not really, the investors would be buying the drones but the TPs and generators would be sold to whoever wants to buy, and there are a lot of people who wants these. Why don't we start talking to the king? If he is not able to unite the countries, they might be useful down the road either as miners or as factory workers. Besides, there are Macs on the planet and last time I heard their population doubled in a year. Andrew said. Binatan countered, I think we should do that sometime in the future, maybe after we set up shop and see our need for their services. So, we're all good. I will have my commercial people talk to your people to get hat passed around already. Roden concluded. Good, I'll get Harold on it right away. Albert said. Meanwhile Edna and Maria sat with Ellie and Adam. Olive and Tom took over giving drinks and food to the guests. Vicky, the bodies for Olive, Tom and Brad look too good to be serving drinks and food. I thought you can have several Olives and Toms and Brads at the same time. Edna asked as she looked at Ellie. Yes, you can. I am working on making it easier to adopt to different faces and body styles. Can you make some for Ashton L? Maybe 10 Ashtons would do. I can do that. Give me a week. But I'll give you 1,000 Ashtons. That fast? Edna asked, surprised. The basic body is standard. The muscles are manufactured into the body shell. The communication devices were standardized by Santos and Santiago and the power packs are built into the frame. They are very, very easy to make. Edna opined, maybe we can sell them. Ellie explained, you would need a ship to operate them. Without the AI of a big ship they cannot work. We can do that later, but make sure we have our Ashtons in a week, okay? Maria asked. No problemo. Ellie was playing with Adam and did not even look at Maria or Edna. Elaine started, "So when will I get to play with a baby Ellie?" "Are you kidding, Tita? She doesn't even have guys in mind." Maria added, "Maybe if you play with babies more, Ellie, you may realize that you want one of those. You cannot stay single forever." Vicky chimed in, "I don't mind if you play with Adam every day all day, Ellie." Ellie was quiet. "I think she's thinking already." Edna said. "No, absolutely not.